Hello there, friends! The Major is just a few days away, so it's time to discuss the latest news from the world of our beloved game. Why G2 got hated again, why Copenhagen Flames went bankrupt, and let's talk about the latest reshuffles. So, let's get straight to it. And as usual, we start with the reshuffles, and I have a lot of news for you. It was expected that changes would occur in Evil Geniuses, however, not in the main roster, but in EG Black. Stanislaw left the team and was replaced by Evil Geniuses just have their own world and atmosphere there. Stanislaw posted a huge post on Twitter telling how bad everything is on the American scene, that they have lost everything that they had in 2019, how unprofessional are the players, the teams, the management, and so on. Stanislaw is planning to restart his career and leave the American pro scene, probably in CS2. Another interesting news is that Starix, a legend of Na'Vi, left Aurora. These guys made some noise at the but apparently their paths diverged after that. What exactly happened is unknown, as the team did well in the last championship, so it's unlikely to be about the results. And we can say the same about the next case. Heet looked good, won CCT series against Monte, and they had earned a lot of money, and then suddenly news appeared that they disbanded. Players simply wrote on their Twitter accounts that their contracts expired and they would continue to play and look for a new organization. Why this happened is unclear. Heet didn't even write about it anywhere. In short, it just looks like a super shady scheme. They just suddenly didn't have the roster on HLTV one night, and that's all. In the comments, people write that it's all about the results and money. The team was stuck at tier 2 level, but that's all, and it's been very tough with money in esports lately. First, there were news that Copenhagen Flames were experiencing financial difficulties. They needed over $700,000 to stay afloat, and after a couple of days, they shut down their roster altogether. They wrote, "We are officially bankrupt." They fired all their employees and now the stack just no longer exists. As their owner writes, the problem started at the end of the last year. They had to close the Fortnite roster, but it didn't help. They couldn't find any investors or sponsors, and they released a statement that they just ceased to exist. And do you remember how once upon a time these guys were tearing everyone up at the Major, with players like not yet a Giga Chad Hooksy, not yet Fnatic stars Nikodos and Roach, and not yet the Cadians main fighter Yabi. It's just disappointing that such a high-profile organization has collapsed. It's funny that their players bought the team stickers a couple of days before the announcement, apparently as a substitute for their salaries. So basically this is how you really do invest in stickers. And Bubsky summed it all up. Honestly, what a sad period for Danish CS. The two best development organizations in DK, who brought up multiple talents throughout the years, Strict and Copenhagen Flames, have now both declared bankruptcy. This will definitely hurt the development of talent in the coming years. Honestly, some weird and odd stuff is happening on the pro scene, considering that CSGO is just beating one online record after another. In April, it had an average online of 921,000 players, which is even more than during the pandemic. Moreover, in April, CSGO had almost 30 million unique players. These numbers are just crazy. Add to that the fact that Valve almost killed the CS2 beta. I haven't played it for weeks now, and you just can't find one. No one just plays it. People say that there are no patches because Valve has a tradition. Every April they just go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. It's like a paid vacation for all the employees, developers, their families, and everyone else. They just basically go to Hawaii and enjoy their life. So this is why we didn't have any news or updates recently. Here you go, an ideal formula. While you're just taking a vacation, your game is beating online records one after another. And even despite the fact that CS2 beta is essentially dead, the rights to host the first major on Source 2 are now a super sweet pie. As noted by a well-known rusher, caster and streamer named Cholkin, the fight for these rights is fierce. There is a serious battle going on between bookmakers for the rights of CS2 majors in the next year. The money needed to secure broadcasting rights is very high. The tender can reach up to $2.5 million for one major event. Esports is becoming very expensive, both in CS and Dota 2. Looking at these numbers and then hearing news about how many organizations are struggling financially is just confusing. While some cannot find the money, others are planning to enter the pro scene once again. For example, Pasha Biceps has expressed the desire to have his own team and is rapidly moving towards that goal. The polls from 9 are doing well, so why not start a similar project? Virtus.pro are also planning to expand their staff. According to insiders, there are talks with Pasha Nosh. If it goes well, he becomes Dastan's assistant. But what's even more interesting is what's happening with their roster. As Overdrive says, they should soon announce Kickert's departure, and Inters and Patsy are currently being actively tested for this position. These rumors had also been confirmed by another insider, Jonas. He says that Inters is more likely to be chosen, with only 25% chance for Patsy. Which option do you prefer? Write in the comments below. Meanwhile, these are not all the roster changes that await us. For example, once again, even OneWin is considering reshuffling.
Про OneWin есть слухи, что вот как раз Кайрон может сюда прийти и будет вместо Никеля или Бумыча. Есть такой слух. Я не знаю даже, вместо кого, вместо Никеля или вместо Бумыча. Других просто нет смысла трогать. Форестер старплеер, Трэвис очень хорошо играет. Ну, Деко, у снайпера нету замены адекватной Деко.
Replacing Bumich with Kairon? No. God, please no. Bumich has just returned to the pro scene. Although, according to another insider, Harumi, it's all just fake. And OneWin is not planning to replace anyone anytime soon. So, who to believe now? We have some kind of insider battle going on, whose information is more truthful. As for Spirit, they're not in a rush to make big signings. As Harumi says, they're only looking for players who can be signed for free, for example, Art Frost from their academy. For now, tests for various rosters are still ongoing, so we're waiting for final information. Richard Lewis also spilled some tea about Team Liquid in 2020. Apparently, they offered $750,000 for Breeze and Cirque, almost $1 million for 2 players. Maybe EG still regrets not accepting that deal at the time. They wouldn't have had to keep changing their roster and making multiple replacements every month, maybe, but that's EG, you know? There were also changes in Eternal Fire. Again, they removed Xflout for the 3rd time in a row and took Wikaria from their academy team instead. Typical Turkish changes, nothing new here. Lastly, there's news about the return of the ever-promising Sunny. Together with Doto, Natosafex, Maze and Milky, they formed a new lineup called Ambush. It just looks like another team for the Home Sweet Home tournaments and Cash Cups, but maybe it will work out. And speaking of roster reshuffles, there were changes in the Lobas team as well. Black Eagle left and Lacro returned. Well, that's something. Let's see how the legend will perform in the Streamers team. By the way, there's more news related to Loba. He had a beef with Cloud9's Buster, which was caught on video.
I don't like you.
Why?
I see your Twitter.
What did I write? CS2?
No, about me.
Ай-яй-яй, Loba. What a dirty Loba.
Never mind.
Tell me, I don't know, I really don't
I
know.
don't like.
Apparently, Buster didn't like Loba's comments about Cloud9. He said some things about Navi in Shiro, but about Buster he said the following. Cloud9 took Buster, I watched, his stats are same as Inter's. Shiro talks a lot, Nefani plays aggressively in terms of map control, and Buster stands on the side. What should I do? They don't impress me much. Obviously, Buster didn't appreciate these comments, but as Loba later wrote, his words were mistranslated. They talked to Timur and resolved everything, so there's no more conflict. In other interesting news, Guardian sold his legendary Op skin for $2,800. As knowledgeable people write, a typical skin like that is worth only $500. So the buyer paid more than $2,000 just for the history of the skin. This skin has been part of the pro scene for 6 years. Also, young NPL from Navi named his dream team. It turned out to be quite interesting. Cattrick as a sniper, Monesi also a sniper, Captain, Fear, Rifler, Twists, and Robs as Lurker. So basically he gathered his friends from Navi Junior and added experienced players from FaZe. By the way, Kassad also spoke about this, regarding Navi missing their main talent. Now Navi as a team are making bad decisions one after another. I acknowledge Blade merits, I still consider him one of the best coaches in CSGO, but some decisions. Substituting SDY for NPL is completely unjustified. So many many unnecessary decisions, changing players' positions, changing the captain, although they had to do it. Just imagine a scenario in which they didn't sell m0NESY. If they were smart enough to keep m0NESY and put him in the role of a sniper and give Simple the opportunity to do whatever he wants, he can be a rifler or a second sniper. Imagine I'm Blade, we're playing on Mirage, I have m0NESY holding mid as a CT and Electronic and Simple are playing another part of the map. We can go to connector and nobody will be on short. We can both go on short, we can aggressively go to point A, because I have m0NESY holding mid and Simple holding connector, short or whatever. The same thing for Inferno. So do you want to play with two ops on Inferno? Sure, send m0NESY to plant B and Simple to plant A, rotate across the map. Just so many options. In this case, Electronic will be even a better captain. Do you think Kassad is right about this? And now let's talk about m0NESY a little more. On May 1st, the young man turned 18. The boy has grown up. Now he will not be kicked from bars and clubs. He will be finally able to chill with the Kovac family. Everything's cool, everyone is celebrating, but it seems that G2 had their own goals for this day. Literally the next day after m0NESY turned 18, the organization signs an agreement with the CSGO Roll website, a regular skin casino. Well, it's nothing special. Many teams signed similar contracts and got burned in the past. It's just a common situation for a CSGO team, only the community didn't take it very warmly. Nell wrote, m0NESY only turned 18 and G2 is already using him for advertising. Nell was supported by a huge number of people who said that G2 is promoting a website with unregulated gambling and is essentially using a child who has just turned 18 for this. NIP's CEO and various other brands and bloggers wrote about it. Once upon a time, Astralis announced a similar deal, but after they saw how much community hated it, they immediately cancelled it. But G2, they just seem to be satisfied with everything. So far, there were no responses from G2, so that's how they got into another scandal. Friends, what do you think? Is it really that big of a deal, or did the community hype it up for no reason? And since we've touched the topic, of course, let's talk about money. Here, the community calculated how much Valve earned with the release of the new case. In case you missed it, the developers released a new Anubis case a week ago. I didn't like it much personally, but apparently the community is okay with spending their money. Watch this. In the first 24 hours after the case was released, it was opened almost 2 million times. The next 2 days, about 4 million times. And that's $11 million in 2 days out of nowhere. So Gabe is just a brilliant businessman. Well, and those who don't worry about anything at all are the players from Heroic and Vitality. Just look at how these handsome guys party after the Rio Major. And the last thing I wanted to tell you today is, of course, the new stickers. Just kidding, you already know that without me. Valve finally released the Viewers Pass and stickers to the game. And here CSGO beats another record for the shortest time between the stickers release and the major start. Because previously they usually released an update at least 5 to 6 days before. And also the Brazy Party tournament ended a few days ago. This online championship didn't get the best reputation. Everyone calls this tournament as 3-2-2, with a lot of match fixing, unclear outcomes, super strange moves, and so on. For example, this moment with Danish Nico is worth a lot. He was left alone against 5 opponents. They wanted to kill him, but he ended up winning.
And so far it looks like it's going to cost him again. Nico's on his own in a 1 versus 4. He's creeping up close behind him. I don't think he's going to be able to get this flick. Oh, yeah, why not? You want to... Oh, no! How does that happen?
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Now he actually has a chance in this one. This would be unbelievable. Is it ever worth it? I'm not sure. Anders, the 1 versus 3 is becoming a reality here. Oh no, he's done it!
And such moments continue throughout the entire tournament. Many bookmakers even banned betting on matches of this championship. In the end, Cloud9 and Astralis reached the finals. And the Nafanis team calmly won the tournament to earn $133,000. But the semifinals were much more interesting, namely the battle between Cloud9 and OG. First of all, how about Nafanis' performance on the first maps overtimes?
Down to the minutiae here. 10 seconds. He has to plant eventually. Will it be the fake again? It is. He doesn't commit. I mean, now he has to go for it. The swing will come through. Napoli surely has him. Oh, he's fumbled the spray, Anders. He's completely fumbled it. Dexter's back on his feet, and with the AWP out, he could nail the shot. It's getting awkward for both teams, but Dexter, somehow, someway.
Then, the teams moved the game to the third deciding map, and there were overtimes again. And just look how Cloud9 handled them. This is the strangest match of 2023.
Napoli drops early. This is looking great for OG. Finally, Exile trying to get back into it, but I think it's too late here, Henry. I don't think this is going to be possible any longer. 2 versus 2. They have the kit. Missed shot for Dexter. And now they're on that bomb, but there's no smoke to cover them. They're just diffusing out in the open. No one's peeking them. No! It's overtime,
I can't believe it!
Well, but let's leave it there. We're looking forward for the major. Soon we'll be in Paris and enjoying the 2 weeks of excellent CS. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything CSGO related. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.